Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be recapping my final round games I played in the Lina Grumette Memorial. Now going to this game, I was at 3.5 out of 5, and the final round I'm playing a 1905 rated player. And so let's get on with the game. He goes D4, he goes D4, I go D5, C4, C6 the slop defense, knight C3, knight F6, knight F3, and I go E6 to semi-slop. Now he goes E3, which is the main line, Maran. It's called the Maran. If I go knight d7, bishop d3, take, b5, bishop d3. Now I could do two moves. I could go b4, c5, or I could do what I did in the game, which is a6, try and go c5 like this. And after queen e2, I go bishop b7, and I develop my queen as well, b3, bishop b7. We're in the process of just developing our pieces and getting them in the game. And now, this is where the position gets interesting. After this move, rook to d2. Now, I go c takes d4 into position, and he has a few ideas. He can go rook dc2, trying to get control of the c file. He can also go rook cd1, try and get control of the d file. Maybe he can take, trying to open up his bishop. Maybe get some kingside attack, but that's not really that possible right now. So I decided to take. The point is, if e takes d4, I can maybe go knight d5 and blockade this isolated pawn, which is how you handle isolated pawn positions. Or if he goes knight takes d4, I just go knight c5 and I have control of his e4 score. Now he does something which is kind of weird and I think kind of inaccurate in the game. He goes queen e1, and I had no idea what this queen e1 move would have done. Maybe he would have gone knight e2 coming back, but I don't really know. It doesn't really help that like the square is still under my control. So now we go knight ce4. We trade off the knight, and now he goes rook dc2, trying to take control of the c file. I trade off the rooks, and now I go bishop f6. I'm pinning the knight to the bishop. Now I have a couple ideas in this position, and one of them is I'm going to go b4 and try and get his knight to c3 and get pass pawn on the c file, which would restrict his queenside play. After bishop b1, I then concocted this little plan, which is e5, knight f3, and then go knight c3, and after takes, he cannot go rook takes c3 because e4, and I attack the rook. He'll have to go knight d4, and then I trade. I go queen takes d4, and if he did this out of complete control over the d file, this nice 4-on-3 majority and a nice bishop, and also coming in queen d2, I think I have a really nice position here. But after b takes c3, he goes e4, blocking my bishop, so now I have no e4, and he's straight up threatening to go rook takes c3. So I go queen d6, and like an indirect way of defending it. So now I can go queen d1 check, and he can't trade because I taken away the bishop. And if he tries to go queen e1 and be kind of sneaky, not really, because I still win the piece. So he goes king h2, getting out of any sort of queen d1 back rank threats. So now I go rook c8, defending the pawn, bishop d3, and now with the move bishop d3, his idea is he's going to go bishop c4 and win the c3 pawn. I go queen a3, rook c2, he goes rook c2, and now I go bishop e7. So now I'm trying to get my bishop to b4 in the future, or I can go to c5, d4. I have a lot of ideas in the position, but now he goes bishop c4 and I go queen a5. And now he goes queen e3. And here in the position I go bishop b4. Now if you go back a couple moves, I think he should have gone queen d3 here. I thought this would be a lot better for him than queen e3, because now he has a little bit of something on the d file. And if I go bishop b4, he has this move like queen d7, which I thought was really annoying, attacking this bishop and attacking the pawn. And I didn't really see a way to defend my position here. So he goes queen e3, but now I go bishop b4, and now he goes knight h4. And I can see the king side's a little bit scary for me as of now. He's getting his queen to g3, his knight to f5, has a bishop on c4, which sight on f7. And yeah, it's a little bit tricky here for me to deal with, but I find a way. I go queen c5, and now he goes queen f3, I go queen e7, and now he gets his knight to f5. And here I make an error. I go queen f6, and I completely blunder something in position, which luckily for me he didn't play. He goes knight to e3, trying to get his knight to d5. But after queen f6, he has this nice, like very good move, knight takes h6 here, and I cannot take with the pawn because queen f6, I lose the queen. And if knight takes h6, queen takes h6, he has to move queen takes f7, forking the king and the bishop, and I'm probably most likely losing. So after like something like knight h6, queen after knight 6, I have to just ignore that and go king f8, queen f6, g f6. After something like f3, defending the pawn, maybe rook d8, knight g4, rook d2, knight e3. White is definitely better here, but I have some holding chances. But he goes knight e3. Luckily for me, I missed. Or luckily for me, he missed. I actually also missed this in the game. I didn't see this after I started analyzing the position. But now I go queen f4 check. I realized that the queens are probably going to be traded off. Otherwise, I'm just going to lose this pawn. So I'll need to trade it off on my own terms. Queen takes f4, e f4, and now he goes knight d5. And for me not to lose literally everything here, I have to trade e d5 and I'll go a5. And I have to accept this drawn opposite colored bishop endgame, which is not what I wanted to do in this game. I wanted to try to fight for like a win, and with a win, I'll probably cross like 2,000 V-Day. And also maybe get some prize money. So he goes a3, I trade, he makes his position simpler for himself. I go bishop d6, stopping the pawn on d5. And now he goes king g1, and he offers me a draw, and I'm thinking, I mean, I don't really know who's playing for the win. It's definitely drawn here, but maybe I could play a few more moves. So I decided I'm going to go g5 and try and bring my king in action. At rook c2, king g7, king f1, king f6, king e2. I give him a check, king f3, rook e1. And we just play a few shuffling moves here. Shuffling back and forth. And here, and around here I struggle to like find an idea, but I finally find one just to go rook d1. Guarding the d3 score, which is really important because after rook e2, now I can go king f5. Now, if you go back a few moves, my original idea was to go h5, but and to go rook c3 and king g4 and to go g4. But I realized he can actually go h4, and after g takes h4, king takes f4. I didn't really like my position very much. I thought after something like f3 guarding g2, I can never really create a pass pawn on the king side, and I don't have a weakness on the king side to attack, and so I thought this is probably just like drawn, and maybe he can play for the win now with my bad pawn structure in the pass d pawn. So after rook d1, he goes rook e2. I go king f5. I'm threatening some sort of h5 g4, so it sort of forces him to go g4 check, and now I go back. Now I did not. Now after g4 check, I did have this move en passant, but I thought after king takes g3, bishop d6 check, king g2. I didn't really see a way for me to deal with this. But hindsight, maybe I should have gone h5, go h4, and fix this pawn h3. So now I have two weaknesses to target, on top of future threats of a4. Maybe I'll have a better chance to win this game. But I go king f6 because I see that this weakness has already been created in the white camp. Now I go rook c2, we shuffled a little bit back and forth, and now I go king d6. And I don't really see any ideas, but now I finally see one, which is I'm going to go rook e1, go rook e7, go back to c7, try and get a4, which is a main idea for me to try and win the game. Just go a4 so I can undermine the bishop. And now he goes king f3, and here in the position I go rook e7. And I'm trying to threaten rook c7, and now he trades off the rooks, which I think was a mistake. I actually thought this was a blunder. Computer says it's actually totally fine in this one specific variation, but you have to find there's like a bunch of only moves. And here I realize I have like great winning chances here if I trade off the rooks. I thought I was winning here. The point is, if king takes e2, now a4 finally comes, and after like bishop d3, I don't take the pawn. I mean, taking the pawn maybe is still winning here, but I go a3. The only move to defend is bishop b1, but now I go king c3, king b2. I shoo the bishop away, so I can go a2, a1 queen, which just wins the game. So he only has to go bishop takes e2, and now I go king c3, attacking the pawn. He cannot go bishop c4 because I have a4, winning the game. I undermine the bishop. So after king c3, the only move defending the b3 pawn is bishop d1. So now I go king d2, attacking the bishop. The only safe move for the bishop is bishop e2, and now I go king c2. If he goes bishop c4, I go king c3, I thought. And I go a4. If d6, like, I saw this, I calculated all this. If takes, I know this is a draw, so I have to throw in a4 first. A d7, bishop e7. And I thought, okay, I'm probably winning this game. I think I'm definitely winning here. But he throws in d6 first. And I recognize that I cannot take the pawn because he has this move bishop c4. and this is a draw because now he has his bishop is no longer bad. Like originally, this pawn d5 was hindering the bishop's movement here, which is why there were all these threats of a4. But with the bishop having free range to go g8, f7, I can never go a4 and undermine the bishop because the bishop can just run here. And by going here, it also defends the pawn. And with the king here defending the king side, I have no way to win this game. So I have to take the pawn first. Bishop d1, king a3. And now d7, bishop e7, and here he goes king e4, a4, and now he goes king d5, which is actually a mistake here, I think. Apparently, the only way to draw is you have to go like king d3, and king b4, and I think go bishop f3, or something like that, and try to stop my pawn. And I think this is drawn. I'm pretty sure this is drawn. So after king d3, I was probably going king b4, bishop f3, and then maybe go here, but actually, like, it's kind of hard because after bishop d1 check, my pawn just constantly here. I actually, like, I didn't even consider king d3 all that much because I thought I was just winning here with some sort of, like, a3. Like, I get my king on, go a3, but actually this is really hard now that I see it even more. But he goes king d5, and now I go king b4, bishop b2, a3, bishop c4, and I just walk my king. He goes f3, king b2, and I just walk my king to go a2, bishop a2, king a2. In this position, my opponent resigns the game. Because although he can try and get a queen, it'll take him a little bit too long because I'll just take his queen off the board, and now my king is closer to this pawn. Okay. I'm just going to show you the full variation here. Here, and now I just go f3, and I win. So yeah, this is obviously a very tough game. It was drawn most of the time. He had, like his one weird move, queen e1, which was not so right, so I was slightly better, but maybe I sort of botched it with this plan of just going e5. Maybe I just keep calm here and just, I don't really know what to do. Maybe just go like a5, maybe go bishop a6, activate bishop. But after this move, like he sort of gets back in the game with this move pawn e4, a very nice move to blockade my bishop. And then he had this like one little chance to take advantage in the position with this knight takes h6. After missing that, it was a draw all the way. This was always a draw, even until the bishop endgame. But then I found this like little nice like king maneuver to win. So yeah, I ended the tournament 4.5 out of 6. I won like prize money of like $240, something like that. So that was really nice. I think it hasn't been confirmed by FIDE yet, but I think I'm gonna cross 2,000 FIDE, so that's very nice. I'm only like 300 points from the FM title, which is what I'm trying to get. So yeah, we'll see. My next tournament will be the World Open, which actually starts in approximately like a week and a few days. And I'm actually playing the Open section, so that's really scary because there are a ton of good title players. I'm probably one of the lowest rated players in that Open section, so we'll see how I do there. I'll definitely be making recaps. And yeah, so that's all for today, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.